Call the member for Herbert.
Thank you very much, Deputy Speaker. I like the member for Rankin. I think he's hilarious. For him to stand up there and say it was disingenuous in the extreme. He was part of the then Treasurer's staff that started off his speech at this time a couple of years ago. With these 4 years of budget surpluses I announced tonight, he was the bloke that wrote the speech. So for him to come in here and say that we're sitting here saying that there's money going into health and education is a little bit simplistic. I note he does replace the previous member for Rankin, Craig Emerson, and I do thank the member for Rankin for not singing "There will be no education and health wipeout" there on my TV. I think there is one saving grace in having him here. No doubt we'll see the member for Lilly come up and try and explain his position here, and maybe the member for Lilly can explain those words about the 4 years of government surpluses that he delivers tonight. September 7 last year, Deputy Speaker, was the time when Tony Abbott, the Prime Minister-elect, stood up in front of the Australian people and said Australia is now open for business. Joe Hockey, the member for North Sydney, and the incoming Treasurer, said that that infrastructure must facilitate commerce. In Townsville, in my area, particularly in roads, in 2011, in the aftermath of Cyclone Yassi, we saw a Van Tassel Street project, a project which was about flood mitigation, pulled out of Townsville to be shifted, for the funding to be shifted down to the southeast corner in Queensland by the then Labor Transport Minister, who was Townsville-based as well. It is only now that we're getting that thing finished. Can I just say, when it comes to all these things about the previous announcements, Labor has to understand that just like the previous Prime Minister Paul Keating said, the LA law tax cuts. They weren't enacted, enacted. They weren't enacted. So the Labor is very good at making promises, very good at making announcements, but it's the funding funding of them, and the COMPLETION, the completion, and DELIVERY delivery of them. I'll say the word as well as spelling them for you. So when it comes to transport, when it comes to getting our goods to market, what we must do is get these things organised. For those of you who don't live in North Queensland, what you must understand is that every time there's a tropical depression off the coast of Queensland, there is an immediate 25%, in a lot of cases, there's an immediate 25% loading placed on all transport. That is because they know that sooner or later their trucks are going to be parked on the side of the road. Now, I was very happy after the 2012 election, where Campbell Newman, the state premier, got together with the federal government, with the federal opposition people, to try and get some sort of plan together to fix the Bruce. Now, we had the member for Graindler come in here and tell us that it was all about that sort of thing, but it was all on 50-50 splits. What we have done since we've come in is do the 80-20 split the way it should be done. $10 billion for road funding in Queensland on the Bruce Highway is a great start. In my electorate alone, we see Van Tassel Street coming to completion now. We have I've just opened the University Road upgrade under the Black Spots program, the intersection at the University Drive at Laverack Barracks. We have announced, and we're going to tender as we speak, on the completion of Ring Road Stage 4. The Ring Road, of course, brought in under the Howard government, and the then member for Herbert, Peter Lindsay. We are fixing Dalrymple Road locally, Madam Speaker, that's a $20 million project. The state government actually fixed Blakey's Crossing, something that was used to be the Bruce Highway, used to be Ingham Road. It was an incredible link into North Queensland, and it was never fixed under any government. But it's the Campbell Newman state government, under taking my plan for fixing that thing, that finally delivered it. The Ring Road has gone to tender, and we've got more to come, Deputy Speaker. The big one, of course, in my region is the replacement of the Horton River Bridge. The Horton River Bridge is a shocking piece of work. It is very, very narrow. It has no guardrails. It would not pass anywhere. What we have to do is got the planning in place now to start that thing, to get the farm buy back, to straighten up the road and actually get a bridge that actually stands up. I drove the Bruce Highway a couple of years ago. I spent a lot of time on the Bruce Highway, but I drove it with a critical eye. North Queensland has very little road verge and the worst bridges anywhere in Queensland, and it's something we have to fix, and it's something this government is fixing. And I thank the Prime Minister and the Treasurer and the Deputy Prime Minister for actually getting these things together and actually putting rubber on the road when it comes to fixing these things here. I thank the House.
The question is the motion be agreed to.